Method of Prayer by Guyon. Chapter 3. One method of meditative prayer for those who can't read. 2 and 3. Apply to the Lord's Prayer into some of the attributes of God for transition from the first to the second degree of a prayer. Those who can't read books are not, on that account, excluded from prayer. The great book which teaches all things and which is written all over, within and without, is Jesus Christ himself. The method they should practice is this. They should first learn this fundamental truth that the kingdom of God is within them. Luke 17:21. And that it must be sought there only. It is incumbent on the clergy to instruct their parishioners in prayer, as in their catechism. It's true they tell them the end of their creation, but they do not give them sufficient instructions how they may attain it. They should be taught to begin by an act of profound adoration and annihilation before God. At closing the corporeal eyes, endeavor to open those of the soul. They should then collect themselves inwardly and by a lovely faith in God, as dwelling within them, pierce into the divine presence, not suffering the sense to wander abroad, but holding them as much as may be in subjection to. They should then repeat the Lord's Prayer in their native tongue, pondering a little upon the meaning of the words and the infinite willingness of that God who dwells within them to become indeed their Father. In this state, let them pour out the wands before him, and when they have pronounced the word Father, remain a few moments in a reverential silence, waiting to have the will of this, their Heavenly Father, made it manifest to them. Again, the Christian, beholding himself in the state of a feeble child, soiled and sorely bruised by repeated falls, destitute of strength to stand or of power to cleanse himself, should lay his deplorable situation open to the Father's will in humble confusion, occasionally intermingling a word or two of love and grief, and then again sinking into silence before him. Then, continuing the Lord's Prayer, let him beseech this King of glory to reign in him, abandoning himself to God, that he may do it, acknowledging his right to rule over him. If they feel an inclination to peace and silence, let them not continue the words of the prayer so long as the sensation holds. And when it subsides, let them go on with the second petition, Thine will be done on earth as in heaven, upon which let this humble supplicants beseech God to accomplish in them and by them all his will. Let them surrender their hearts and freedom into his hands, to be disposed of as he pleases. When they found that the will should be employed in loving, they will desire to love, and will implore him for his love. But all this will take place sweetly and peacefully, and sort of the rest of the prayer in which the clergy may instruct them. But they should be not burden themselves with frequent repetitions of set forms. silence, or studied prayers. For the Lord's Prayer, once repeated as I have just described, will produce abundant fruit. 3. In other times, they may place themselves as sheep before the shepherd, looking unto him for the true food. O divine shepherd, thou feedest thine flock with thyself art indeed their daily bread. They also represent to him the necessities of their families, but let all be done from this principle and one great will of faith, and God is within them. All our imaginations of God amount to nothing. A lively faith in his presence is sufficient. We must not form any image of the deity, though we may of Jesus Christ beholding him in his birth or his crucifixion in some other state or mystery, provided the soul always seeks him in its own center. On other occasions, we may look to him as a physician, or present for his healing virtue all our maladies, but always without perturbation and without pauses from time to time, that the silence being mingled with action may be gradually extended and our own exertion lessened till in the length, by continually yielding to God's operations, he gains the complete ascendancy, as shall be hereafter explained. 4. When the divine presence is granted us, and we gradually begin to relish silence and repose, this experimental enjoyment of the presence of God introduces the soul into the second degree prayer, which, by proceeding in the manner I have described, is attainable as well by the illiterate as by the learned. Some privileged souls, indeed, are favored with it, even from the beginning.